identified two or three of the major actors whose actions have made this round of murders possible. I would like here to introduce the ideological issue, to emphasize the ideological issue. We must realize that we are today governed not by the BJP as in the previous NDA government, for good or ill, but by the RSS. And that the RSS, from its inception, had never concealed its admiration for fascism. It had praised, its leader Goldwalker had praised Hitler and his treatment of Jews, and likened it to the treatment indirectly to what Muslims should receive when RSS would be in power. So here we are dealing with perhaps not an actual fascist power, but a power ambitious of being fascist. And one very important feature which they have in common with Hitler Germany is the replacement they seek to make of history by mythology. Several of our journalist friends speak as if their readings of history is different from the reading of ordinary historians. That is not the case. They have no reading of history. They have only a construction of mythology. Don't go far. Go to the NDA textbooks of the previous regime. I say don't go far, don't go to their myth about Aryans going out of India and civilizing the world. But come to their treatment of the national movement. If you read that book, you would think that Gandhi and Nehru made no contribution to India's freedom. It's a surprise that they got elected. If you read NDA's textbook, it would seem that only the Hindu Rashtra people, Savarkar and others, made the worthwhile sacrifices. Nehru is all the time censured there, and Gandhiji's murder is not even mentioned. It's not even an event. You can read that book. We are talking of today with the renaming of Aurangzeb about Aurangzeb. This book quotes Jawaharlal Nehru's censure of Aurangzeb, rightfully right. That censure was one which nobody could disagree with, but they don't quote Jawaharlal Nehru's praise of Akbar. If you read that book, it would seem that Akbar was even worse than Aurangzeb. So they are replacing history not with another kind of history. There could be many interpretations of historical facts. One has to select, but those facts should be there. They are inventing facts. And this was exactly what the Nazis did. They invented a history in which the Germans peopled the world, as Aryans, as Indo-Europeans, how close our RSS friends are to them. RSS friends say Indo-Aryans going out of India peopled the civilized world. They built the pyramids in Egypt and so on and so forth. Everything worthwhile was done, and the Greek philosophy came out of the Upanishads. So they are just aping Hitler. And their history, therefore, has also Hitlerite parallels. They have now got Chairman ICHR saying that one should go to the Puranas, one should go to the Ramayana and Mahabharata for our history, and therefore we must believe that the Haruran Khatolas are aeroplanes by which Rama returned from Sri Lanka, but unfortunately that was constructed by Ravan, not a Rakshas, not by any Indo-Aryan. So that's a slight fault in the Ramayana. Otherwise, we had the aeroplanes, although donated to us by Rakshasas and not built by us, but we had aeroplanes. And therefore, we have got this replacement, and now that there would be education commission and so on, this replacement would come. They will be again textbooks, and I believe that in Gujarat and some other RSS governed, BJP governed states, such textbooks are already in use, and soon perhaps in central services our students would be asked, aspirants for civil service would be asked where the Aryans first went, which country they first went when they went out, set out of India to people the world. In this atmosphere, the renaming of Aurangzeb Road is a ominous development. That Aurangzeb can't be everyone's cup of tea is of course admitted. For Dalits, hardly any ancient Indian ruler can be admired. The Satavahanas, the Guptas, everyone said that we uphold the Varna Dharma, the Varna Ashram, we are opposed to the mixture of castes. This is in the Gautami Putra Shatakarni inscription. So, why are you naming ships or aeroplanes and so forth after Samudragupta, for instance, or other ancient Indian rulers? Clearly, one should stand up and say that this renaming effort is condemnable and should stop and should be reversed. Previously, under the NDA regime, there were proposals to rename Allahabad and Lucknow. To his honor, Ashok Bajpai had said that he was elected from Lucknow, not Lakshmanpuri, and therefore they stopped. But Lakshmanpuri was well on the way to replacing the historic name Lucknow. And for Allahabad, not Prayag, but some other name was found. But that scheme too was dropped. Now, however, I am sure that this scheme will continue, and this would again become one way in which communalism will thrive. All newspapers are saying indirectly that before election communal tension heats up. They don't say who is the author of this heating up of communal tension. In Bihar, in UP, everywhere, you know who the author is. They are now in the seats of power at the center. Mr. Modi has a great credit of the greatest slaughter in communal violence next to the Delhi riots of 1984. He has that particular badge of honor, and I am sure that he has many imitators. It is therefore important that there should be determined opposition to the steps that are leading or that might lead India to position of a semi-fascist, if not a fascist state. Mr. Anil Maurya spoke about capitalist support for Mr. Modi. I am sure that there has been no other election in Indian history in which money power played such a part. Remember also that this is in common with the history of Nazi Germany. In 1933, Krups and other capitalists all supported Hitler. And after 1945, they said we made a mistake. You made a mistake, and millions were killed, tens of millions. 27 millions died in Soviet Union. 7 million Jews were slaughtered. You made a mistake. So the capitalist class in India, I quite agree with Colonel Maurya, has to answer. And we have also to see that we should have a democracy where money should not play such a part. It is regrettable that a republic which came into being after our national movement should have seen the day when money swayed such a large number of votes and elected to power a party which had throughout opposed the national movement. RSS had the distinction of not leading a single agitation against the colonial government. All their crimes, all their agitations were against a fellow community. I cannot forbear, I am sorry if I am taking time, but before I leave I can't forbear to share with you a joke that has come from Pakistan. In Dawn, a writer wrote that the trouble with Pakistan is its history. All countries, ex-colonies, have histories of freedom movement against their rulers. Pakistan is the only country that has a history of struggle against fellow subjects. Not against rulers, but against fellow subjects. That fits RSS completely. They have only history in the national movement in which they took issue with fellow subjects. In 1947, they wished to cleanse Delhi of Muslims. It is a tribute to the government of the time, to Pandit Nehru, to Sardar Patel, that they did not allow a single name to be changed. The roads named after Muslims remained as they were. For this they deserve all honor. And when they deserve honor for this, what do they deserve who now wish to rename the roads in order to exacerbate communal feelings that we have to judge? Thank you very much.